folks, and welcome back to another Friday Night Spotlight. This is our playoff edition, as always brought to you by 911 Air Repair, your local air conditioning expert specializing in maintenance, repair, and new installation. As I mentioned, we are talking playoffs. We are talking about our smaller schools in 3A and 2A. We have 3 teams in action on Friday for this, and we are just going to work our way from the top to the bottom. And we are starting with 3A, number 8, ALA Ironwood. They are going to be hosting number 9, Payson. And first of all, I got to give a huge shout out to ALA Ironwood, all the guys on the team, the coaching staff, head coach Lauren Dawson. ALA Ironwood has done such a huge turnaround in just 2 seasons under Dawson. Previously, they joined the AIA in 2018. They only had 6 wins overall. Last year, they met that mark. They made it to their first ever playoff game, and this year they're hosting because, okay, they're trending in the right direction. Got to give kudos to the whole team. And David, just what are you expecting in this game?
Yeah, like you said, this is why ALA Ironwood's one of my favorite teams that we have to offer, because of that turnaround and because of that determination. They were not satisfied with having a lackluster football program. They wanted to establish themselves as a good sports traditionally based program, and they have done so, and it all starts and stops with that football team, and they have done a really good job of turning it around like you mentioned, and it all starts with Lauren Dawson, who has come in and has really turned this program around. And then on the field, it starts and stops with Aiden Williams at running back. I have spoken his praises throughout this entire season. He is going to be an absolute game changer for them, and he is going to be key for them if they want to make a deep playoff run. He has to be healthy, and he has to have good blocking, has to have good ability to get through the defensive line and be able to score touchdowns. And he has to be the go-to guy. They have other weapons in here, but Aiden Williams is going to be their go-to punch, and he has to be the guy for them if they have any chance of moving forward here. I really like what they have so far. I expect them to kind of to win here, but it just comes down to what kind of team they're going to face when they get up there. We've seen it over the years. Pinal County teams have no problem getting to the playoffs, but then it's when they get to the playoffs that things start to kind of cause trouble. We've seen early upsets and early exits from a lot of our teams just because they don't really face tough opponents in the regular season because of their regions. So ALA Ironwood, that may not be the case. They should be able to win this one and move on. I'm hoping for it because it would be huge for that program, but we'll see what happens.
Looking at Payson, they kind of do have somewhat of a balanced game on offense. Their quarterback, Nolan Keeney, over 1,500 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, but he does have 13 interceptions, which is key here for ALA Ironwood, who has Marcus Dorsey on defense and is just pretty much their ball hawk on defense, I like to call him, because he's really good at getting those picks. But looking at Payson's defense, I think this is really going to cause some trouble for ALA Ironwood. As a team, they have 31.5 sacks. Braden Lee has 8 of them. Ethan Gutner, 7.5. What am I looking at here? Johnny McArney, he leads the team with 83 tackles, 12 of them for a loss. Just overall, 18 interceptions, 16 fumble recoveries. If ALA Ironwood doesn't really do a good job of keeping possession of the ball and keeping things safe, Payson could possibly get an upset here. Overall, I think this might be our closest contest of our 3 playoff games, so we will have to wait and see how this one turns out. Moving on to our other 3A team, we are talking number 6 Florence. They will be hosting number 11 Wickenburg. And the thing here is, will the third time be the charm for this Gophers team? The past 2 years, they have made it to the playoffs. They haven't been able to make it past this first round game. I'm thinking this time things might be a little different. David, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, like you mentioned, this is the team to do it if they are going to break through that first round window that they haven't been able to in the last recent years. This is a really just solid team all around. 9-1 record, have been really good so far throughout the rest of the year. In my opinion, they should be ranked higher. Just they've had some unfortunate things go against them. We've talked about the bye week kind of hurting them for some reason, even though they didn't even play a game. Then they had that loss to Benjamin Franklin earlier in the year. So it's going to come down to, can this team, finally break through that hump and kind of actually, be the team they're supposed to be. Logan Stenson is in his final year. This could be his last game. I highly doubt that he's going to let it be his last game because he is a fierce athlete and he's going to be a game changer for them, both with his arm and his legs at the quarterback position. Malik Smith has been solid for them throughout the year as well. So this is a really good team that needs to kind of make that push forward and just, believe in themselves. They have to have the ability to be like, hey, we are going to go in here, we are the better team, and we need to show why we're the better team in order to finally break through that glass ceiling that is the first round playoff for them.
So looking at Wickenburg, they're kind of a one-trick pony here. Running back Nick for Mika, he has 220 2 carries. Nobody else on the team has touched the balls even 100 times, and in those carries he has over 1,600 rushing yards, 20 touchdowns. So for Florence, hey, I'm just looking to lock this guy up and try to slow him down. I know what my offense can do. Florence has a lot of different varieties. They're a heavy running team, but Logan Stenson can throw the ball if he has to. So I think, hey, Florence, if they can lock this guy up, it's going to be an easy win for them. And then moving on to our last team, we are going down to 2A, number 5, Santa Cruz. They are hosting number 12, Scottsdale Christian. Feel like Santa Cruz here has a little bit of an edge. They lost their regular season finale to Pima. Scottsdale Christian is the defending 2A champ and also the team that knocked them out of the playoffs last year. David, what can we expect to see from the Dust Devils?
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic for this game because, like you mentioned, Scottsdale Christian was the best team in 2A last year with the championship. But, they had a lot of seniors on that team last year that are gone now. So it's kind of been a rebuilding phase for Scottsdale Christian. But it's a testament to how good that program is to still be able to get into the playoff hunt. But for how good Scottsdale Christian has been this year, Santa Cruz has just been absolutely the better team. It comes down to their two losses to Santan Charter and to Pima. It really came down to Santa Cruz making mistakes and kind of beating themselves. They had multiple opportunities to win both those games. They just couldn't do it because the mistakes piled up on them. And I expect that to kind of be, the big focus for them, limiting mistakes and limiting turnovers and making and leaning on their playmakers, leaning on guys like Nathan Harris, Aiden Isigari, Jonathan Ramos. Those are the kind of guys that they're going to have to rely on in order if they want to win, and they have to play mistake-free. Sometimes when they make mistakes, they can kind of start piling up on them, and they can't let that happen, especially against anybody. Anybody can be beaten in football, especially in high school football, so they can't take their opponents lightly. They have to come out there and know their abilities and know how good they are if they want to continue to move forward, and hopefully they can break through the quarterfinals. We haven't seen them, break through that round since they won it all in 2020 in the 2A region, so it's going to come down to can they actually, finally will themselves to a position and deny the doubters.
Looking at this matchup, I feel like these teams are very similar in how they run their offense. Looking at Scottsdale Christian, quarterback Sean Helgeson has a 61% completion rate, over 1,500 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions. They have a lot of different options for running the ball. And then just his wide receivers, it's not just one guy who does a majority of the workload. So I think Santa Cruz's defense might have their work cut out a bit here for them. But hey, going up against Pima in this last game, kind of, I believe, will help them just get prepared for Scottsdale Christian and potentially any other playoff teams they might see later on down the road if they can come away with a win on Friday. As always, here are our picks. We have about 5 regular season games, I believe, left on the schedule for our 5A and 4A schools. And with that, we are wrapping up. Come check us out next week as we will potentially be talking more playoff stuff.